All right, this is the Hunt, Fish, Conserve podcast hosted by Ethan Evans,
and Tyler Swenson.
Today we're going to be giving a background on the podcast, ourselves, and the future plans for the show. So I'll actually start and talk about the purpose of this podcast. I've been watching hunting and fishing videos for the past, 5 years, and a lot of the footage is just taken from out west, and I don't feel like the Midwest really gets it represented. It does.
No.
I feel like it just definitely lacks a lot of authentic content and like real content that like people really want to see.
It's because all the private land.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I mean. It's like, I mean, I see like these people. It's like, how do you want to watch somebody hunt 300 acres and you're gonna go hunt public land? And like, how do you draw that line there? Like, I don't see that line there.
At a certain point, is hunting all that private land. You know, you've been watching that same deer for the deer's whole life.
Yeah.
That kind of takes the hunting aspect out of it for me.
Yeah, it does the same for me. And like, I hope to bridge that gap and show people that it's not like that for everybody. Everybody takes a lot of different approaches to it. And like, I want to bring a more approach that's more modern and more realistic for the average day hunter.
Mm-hmm. Because I definitely get the appeal of it. But for me, I want to know I don't want to know what's coming around the corner next,
Yep.
I want to be surprised by that big buck or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's not realistic. I mean, like, I don't have enough money to go buy 300 acres of whitetail land to go hunt.
No.
And you don't got enough money to go buy a bunch of flooded corn to go hunt ducks on and stuff.
No.
Yeah, I mean, come on. That's not realistic for us. And, like, especially the young guy. And I think that's going to be a big selling point for our show is just talking to young people about it and, talking about the cool people that are in the outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
The guides, the biologists that are doing cutting edge stuff and only young people.
Yeah, and definitely to promote budget hunting because I feel like everybody has this perspective. We're going to go on a big backcountry hunt here pretty soon, and I feel like everyone has this perspective that, it costs all this money to get into big game hunting, and, it's just out of reach. Really isn't.
No, it's definitely not. And, like, I just feel like people... it just kind of comes back to those TV shows that we kind of all grew up watching. It was just like, everybody was saying, like, you need X, Y, and Z, and if you don't have X, Y, and Z brand, you're not going to kill that big buck, or you won't be able to do this.
Yeah, and certainly, like, when I have been researching, or you go onto Facebook groups and you say, hey, what's the best pack out there?
Yeah.
Most of those guys come back with, $400 packs, $500 packs, something top dogs are using, but I might use this $400 pack for a budget rather than this $500 pack.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like, that's what I want to talk about on the show. I want to get people that are doing the same stuff that we're doing, and I want to get people that just just have a passion for the outdoors. And the biggest thing, is like I think some of our future guests are going to be like, the conservation officers in Iowa and, why some laws are the way they are, how they got into their jobs. And that same goes for biologists. I mean, you got, Rocky Bridges.
Yep.
Who's like kind of been doing that his whole life. And like,
he's kind of, I would say he played a big part in making who I am today. The love for it, the love for foraging, the love for fishing, and even hunting. I didn't hunt that much with him growing up, but I mean, I've definitely had the opportunity to spend more time than, anyone else.
And, I think that comes back to the authentic portion where like, you were just kind of like, it's authentic. Like Rocky's an authentic person.
Yes.
And like, you had that connection that it wasn't out of reach for you to do it.
Yeah.
When you met Rocky.
Yep. It's a really good experience that I definitely cherish.
So I guess next thing we'll just talk about is just, a little bit about who we are and kind of like where we grew up and kind of like what we're doing with our lives right now.
Yeah, so me, I'm 21 years old. I'm a college student studying construction management at UNI. Pretty much how I came up in hunting for one, and even fishing is my grandpa has lived at a lake pretty close to my hometown, and it was easy to access the lake and go fishing. And we'd catch bullheads all day long. That lake was just filled with bullheads, and he took me goose hunting. I'm not quite sure. I can't decide if he liked to go goose hunting or he just went goose hunting because I like to goose hunt. But it was a lot of fun, and that's what kind of got me interested in waterfowl hunting or hunting in general, and fishing, all aspects of fishing, fly fishing, was introduced to me by one of the guys who lived around Rice Lake, John Carlson. He really introduced me to fly fishing, and it kind of took off from there. Ice fishing, backpack hunting really interests me. Bow hunting, not much of a bow hunter, but I try.
Yeah. No, and then I mean Ty kind of got me into a lot of this stuff. Like he definitely like some of that waterfowl hunting because I never really actually had anybody introduce it to me. But to kind of like take a step back, like I'm 21 years old. I'm actually studying computer engineering, which talking about that, it's like kind of our majors are kind of off topic, but a lot of the stuff we do is kind of centered around the outdoors
Yep.
and like definitely like a main motivation for our jobs is to like fund this kind of stuff and build it into something. And I guess, my experience is kind of different than Tyler's in a lot of regards was like, like I didn't have grandparents that hunted. I didn't have parents that hunted. I had some uncles that hunted, some cousins, but it wasn't like they were going to take time out of their schedules, which I understand that they didn't want, they didn't want to take me hunting. I was totally fresh to the game and like still fishing. Like I was totally fresh. Like, like I have that same experience with like my brother. Like half the time I take him fishing, it's like knots all over. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's just like a super pain in the ass. But at the end of the day, like when I see him catch that, bass, it's like super rewarding.
Oh, for sure.
And,
It's definitely fun to watch them get into the sport.
and like my kind of first interest was to like, and I'll say it, like I watch people on YouTube fish.
Yeah. That's kind of how got me into bass fishing in the first place.
And that's who we are. And like I want to say that personally, like I've moved away from that kind of fishing. Not necessarily moved away from it, but I've kind of separated myself, and I don't want to pigeonhole myself. I still do it. I still enjoy it. But some of my more interests, like same as like Tyler was talking about, like fly fishing. I had someone, same guy, actually showed me how to like bow hunt and shoot archery, and that's became like one of my huge passions, just shooting archery, fly fishing, backpack hunting, and then also throwing like waterfowl hunting in there too, since a lot of my friends do it.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of fly fishing, do you remember I I got introduced to fly tying, but I really didn't take much interest in it at the beginning, and I kind of showed you how to tie your first fly. We were tying John Carlson, the guy who showed us what it's all about. We were
Yeah.
tying his fly, and that was really the only thing I knew how to tie.
Yeah, I remember like I couldn't even put the thread on the hook. I remember like my fucking hands. It looked like I had two. Like it looked like I was tying flies with my feet.
Yeah,
Like it looked just so bad. Like I didn't know what I
it
was
was
doing.
horrible.
Like I was like I was like, oh, just tie this on, and then like he would already be on the next step, and it'd be like me 5 minutes later, and then like he'd have to end up tying it, and like we were both so fresh to it. We're like we weren't even putting like the right knot to finish it, and like before we know it, like half our fly was unraveled when we were fishing with it.
Well, no, the thing I struggled with too is um, knowing all of the different knots for tying these flies and
Yeah.
all the methods to keep the material on.
Yeah.
I didn't know how important that was.
Oh yeah, we were totally fresh. Like we just thought like you did some loop de loops and you put some stuff on there, and before you knew it, you had a fly. And like
Yeah, but now you know way more about fly tying than I do.
yeah, that was kind of like my segue. That was like my first real thing. I guess I got really serious about was fly tying, and that was just because of the fact that I thought it was just something fun to like be creative with, and I had some like good people introduce me to some of that more like how to do it, because like I feel like on YouTube there's a lot of videos on like how to tie flies, like variations of fly, but it's not like how do you actually use the tools that you provided to tie flies.
Well, and here's the thing I struggle with too right now is a lot of those flies, the material they use is so specific, and they don't say this is the material I'm using, or you can use so and so material
Yeah.
to do the same thing.
And before you know it, you're down a rabbit hole and you spent like $300 to tie one fly, and you're like, I'm never gonna get that money back.
Yeah, well, and especially when you buy all that material, it's not cheap either. I mean, you would think just some fur off some animal is
Yeah, no.
whatever, but no, it's not cheap material. And you buy from how the YouTube videos or YouTube tutorials that I've watched, how they've displayed it is that you got to buy this, and that to tie this one fly.
Yeah.
And then you watch the next one, and it's totally different material.
And like I know one of the best guys in Iowa. He's a young guy. He'll be on the show. Marco. He uses like 10 flies at max, and he has some variations he'll throw in there. But like, it's like definitely like how you use a fly, and that would be definitely talked about like in the future. But just some stuff like that is stuff that we want to talk about on the show,
Yeah.
and just kind of show people that like we were fresh to it. We're still fresh to it, and like kind of give you more of a realistic approach to some of that stuff.
Yeah, because we're definitely still learning and kind of want to give other people the perspective of us learning, and maybe they could learn something as well.
I mean, like I know it is, and like I'm intimidated by this right now, and I'll be honest with you, like public land hunting, it feels like going out into the woods. It's like like you don't want to step on somebody else's toes,
No,
because I feel like that's a definitely like a no.
especially around here.
Yeah, like a no, like it's a bad thing, like something you're talked down upon, like you could. It's kind of like life or death in some ways.
Yeah.
Like I don't like you don't want to take that, and
Like-
it's like their spot, and like just I want to go over and talk about some of that, like how do you public land hunt? How do you respect other hunters? And like, because I feel like when I first started doing it, and the first time I did it, it's like I felt like I was a burden to somebody.
Oh, I know I did.
And like, and we have every right to be entitled to that land. I bought my hunting license. I was totally able to be there, but I felt like I shouldn't be there because I felt like I was so new to it. And
No.
like, I definitely want to take that perception away from everybody.
No, because the first spot I set my stand up at,
Yeah.
John Carlson put me on a great spot, and for some reason I thought I'm gonna go try this on my own. So I took the stand down, I moved it a little closer to where I live, and next thing I know, I was on somebody else's quote unquote spot,
Yeah.
and I didn't know it, and they were a little upset about it, but it's whatever. I'm totally entitled to it too. But I've definitely heard of people chasing other people off of public land because it's their spot.
And this is something that we're definitely going to get into, like being turkey season around the corner. Like Ty and I are going to be on all public land turkey spots, talking about this kind of stuff, doing this kind of stuff, and like making it realistic for you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Because a lot of the hunting that I do, other than waterfowl hunting, is a lot of public land because that's all I have access to.
And like we live in Iowa, and the big thing around us is it's turkeys and deer. And that's like, if you're hunting those, it's like, you hunt turkeys in the spring, and then you mix some deer with the duck and goose you hunt in the fall. So,
Yeah, for sure. So maybe we can discuss what keeps you involved in the sport? What keeps you involved to keep hunting after a day where you don't see anything? Because some days you don't see anything. You set up all these goose decoys and nothing flies. What keeps you interested?
I always think, I'll say it like simply, it's like tomorrow is what I think. It's like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I'd say like, another thing that doesn't get talked about as much, it's the commodity. Like,
Yeah.
and it's definitely like, and that's one of my favorite things about waterfowl hunting. And I hope everybody kind of starts to experience it, like, and show it. And like, we're definitely going to try to document it. It's like, I love sitting in a layout blind or a duck blind or an A-frame with my best friends talking about hunting, and it could be cold as shit.
Yeah, and it is
It's
many
cold
days.
As shit. I mean, we didn't shoot any fucking birds, but just sitting around BS, and like I wouldn't ever like, I'd rather do that than anything else in the world. And like, just the commodity, and like and it's definitely like, the meat that comes with it, and the experiences, and like the hardships, and like
Yep.
I feel like when I took a part on this journey of like learning how to hunt and fish, kind of by myself, kind of the same journey you did, like
Yep.
I felt like I've learned so much about myself.
Yeah, because I mean, I definitely had some guidance, but I kind of had to take it upon myself to learn more about the sport.
Yeah.
I definitely was introduced to it by others, but I had to take it upon myself to learn more to pursue being great at whatever it is, fishing, waterfowl hunting, do the research and go out. And like you said, some days it just doesn't work out. You wake up at 5 in the morning to go
Yeah.
shoot some geese that you saw in the field the other night, and it's too sunny or not enough wind, and they aren't flying. It
Yeah.
sucks, but
You set up all those fucking decoys. You fucking
oh,
brush your blind in. You set up perfect. Everybody's getting comfy. Shotguns are loaded, and
yep.
before you know it, hour goes by. It's shooting time, and nothing's flying.
But we probably shouldn't discuss that too much because
Yeah.
hopefully one of our next guest speakers is a buddy of ours, Jackson Rice. He knows a lot about waterfowl, and I've been doing it longer than him, and I would say he knows way more about waterfowl than I do.
Yeah, he lives and breathes that
He's
stuff.
he'll definitely have a good opinion on it.
Yeah. So I guess that's probably my number one thing, and I think it's just the thrill and that's kind of what the backcountry hunting thing to me is like, just being out there, being in places that I probably would never go if it wasn't for hunting.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't like some of the places that I swear in Iowa, I would have never been there if it wasn't for hunting and fishing. And the older I get and the more I do it, the more like I fly fished in Wyoming, Montana, and Colorado. And just recently I've kind of picked my head off the stream and kind of started to realize, like, look around and be like, I'm surrounded by the Rocky Mountains, or I'm surrounded by
Yeah.
like bison. It's like, it's like I didn't realize that because like when I first started, it was all about like, hitting limits, catching 20 fish. It was like if I didn't do that, I was a failure.
Well, and a thing that gets me motivated about it, like we were talking backcountry hunting, or even around here,
Yeah.
waking up to see that sunrise, or going to the mountains, because some of that land, Wyoming, Montana,
Yeah.
Colorado, some of the most beautiful places on earth,
Yeah.
and it's just being there.
Right. And I don't want to belittle Iowa because like, I mean, one of the most beautiful days I had this year was actually on a duck hunt when we were like just hammering them. And even if we didn't hammer them, we were just sitting there watching snow flying in the middle of a field that I would have never did that or never experienced that if it wasn't. I would have never experienced it with you guys if it wasn't for us duck hunting.
Yeah, some of the best memories too.
Yeah, exactly. And
Some of the best memories I have hunting is, which we'll get into it a little more in future podcasts, but are the days when you don't see anything like we talked, but you might be bullshitting or screwing around with this, and it's just fun. It's just fun being out there.
and I think that's the thing that we want to definitely display the most with our show is the stuff like that, and people and showing people that like we're fresh to it too, and we want to talk about all of the mistakes we make and be honest about them. Like, like I want to show people that how to blow a duck call. I want to show people like how to set up on the extra turkeys.
Yeah.
How to fucking cast a Euro rod for fly fishing, like that kind of stuff. Like I want to show like what I do wrong, and I hope that someone I'll have someone like correct me or blah blah blah.
Well, because, what could be good videos to others are the times where you introduced me to Euro nymphing.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And that day that we go out and you teach me, that could be something where somebody else learns off of it, and that's kind of where I want to go with this channel.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I feel like I could have a bolted list and be like, okay, I'm gonna talk straight to a camera and tell you how to do it, but like having someone who's new to it and like actually have an authentic experience there, where they're actually like, okay, what do I do with this, or how do I avoid this or that? So
Yeah. Hopefully, that's the direction where we're gonna go.
yeah,
Anyways.
yeah. So I guess I'll ask you, Ty, but like you've been doing it for a long time. Like, what makes you want to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning and like just keep
3:30 in the morning sometimes.
And go goose hunting?
Oh, I'll tell you one thing. There's nothing that makes me want to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to go maybe shoot teal or maybe shoot geese. Like I said, it's it's just the experience, getting to the field at 3:30. Nobody wants to wake up that early.
Yeah.
We're all fucking tired, and we got to set up decoys and brush our blinds in, and it's all dark, and it sucks. But just the social aspect of it for waterfowl hunting, anyways, and that's the only time I wake up that early. Waterfowl hunting. But it's just fun to see the sunrise, and I love the outdoors. I love being outside, and that's one of the reasons why I pursued a construction career is those days where I get to be outside. It's nice out. Oh, I'm going to go check on the job site,
Yeah.
Yeah, the outdoors, it's really made me who I am, I
Yeah.
would say. It, all the different experiences I've had being outside and doing these activities, foraging, hunting, fishing. Not every day's a success.
And I think one of the biggest things with hunting and fishing for me, at least, it's like I've had a lot of things I've been good at in my life, and I've had a lot of things I've been bad at. I've had a lot of things I've worked hard at and been proud of. But like hunting and fishing is one of those things like you're not really born a good hunter. You're not really born a good fisherman. Like you have to
No.
learn that. And like if you don't have someone to show you, that learning curve gets exponentially harder. And you have to learn on your own. You have to be willing to do that research, and you have to be willing to put that time in.
And the best thing is, too, is I always think, especially with fishing, and I mean, certainly hunting as well, but there's probably always something better that you could be doing.
Yep.
And it's not just one scenario every time. It's
Yeah.
always something new.
Yeah, it's always something new, and it's always something to get better at. And I think that's what kind of just really keeps me totally excited about the sport. And I'm excited to see, what opportunities there are involved with it, where we can grow this brand, where we can grow other people into this brand. And I guess, I'm just totally excited for this.
Yeah, definitely, because I I love supporting new hunters. It is so much fun when Jackson and I bring out new hunters like you at one point,
Yeah.
and especially your little brother Chase. I mean,
Yeah.
that day sucked. We didn't see anything, but he still had a lot of fun, and it was fun seeing him have fun.
Oh, he still talks about that to this day.
Really?
Like, he loves that story. Like, just being around some older guys, just like, you guys are like his idols, it's like, these guys are like, he would never talk to you guys otherwise, and like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, he just has this like super sweet idea of hunting now.
Yeah, it's cool, and I'm really glad he enjoyed it because that day did suck. It did.
Yeah.
It was cold. Jackson made his burritos. That's what got me through it.
Yeah. And
He's always coming in clutch with the burritos.
so I guess I guess I'm really just excited to, like, bring new people out there. And that's one thing I want to do the show too, is like, both Ty and I have a lot of friends who don't really hunt and are open to the idea of hunting, but like don't necessarily have some of the means to do it, or the financials, or like even the know-how. And I think we want to shoot some videos where just bringing those guys out and like having a real authentic experience again, where like those guys are just out there doing it and seeing what it's like. And we want to show them that like that the food's good. Like, the number one thing when I like started goose hunting was like, I looked it up and I was like, God, everybody's
God.
talking shit about a fucking
Yeah.
goose. It's like, do I even want to hunt this? Like,
Nobody has anything good to say about him.
because both Ty and I we use every part of the animal we can when we cook it.
Oh, for sure.
And that's one thing I want to do on the show too, is just like show it like we can cook it. We can cook it good recipes. And like, I mean, fuck, I'm no Gordon Ramsay,
No.
but I can cook a goddamn good goose.
I've cooked a goose the same way my entire life
Yeah.
until I started watching Meat Eater.
Yeah. And like seeing those guys that are just like, they're doing something different. And like, you can mix that, old school American style or Italian style or Chinese style. Like, you can make fucking goose chicken, like goose orange chicken,
Yeah.
like, without the chicken, you got fucking goose instead.
Well, pulled pork. You made pulled pork. Well,
Yeah.
pulled goose.
Yeah,
but
pulled goose.
you made that recently,
and it
didn't
was
you?
super easy, super good. And the thing is with that kind of gamey recipes, I think it's just gotta be a little more you gotta take a little more time. But everybody can do it. Everybody can taste it good. And just like with hunting, if you want to be successful hunting, you have to put the time in. If you want to be successful cooking, you gotta look up some new recipes. gotta be willing to try some new stuff.
And you got to be willing to go out and try,
Yeah.
because not every day is a success.
Yeah, and like, I tried cooking goose for a lot of people, and a lot of people end up liking it. And a lot of the meat I tried cooking, like, I've heard nothing bad about trout. I love trout.
Yeah, that was actually surprising the first time I heard that.
Give me all the trout you can get.
Because of the whole environment around trout fishing and fly fishing, you know. It's fly fishing to me was like this great whole different sport of fishing. And to hear someone talks so badly about trout really surprised me.
Yeah, it definitely surprised me. And that's the same thing with like everything. I hear this stupid word thrown around called gamey.
Yeah, I hate that word.
And I correlate that word with lazy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it means. It means that you were lazy cooking it. And the only reason that there's a gamey taste is because, like, I could give you dried chicken. You're going to fucking eat it, and you're going to put sauce on it.
Yeah.
It's no different than really just, like, gamey meat.
Yeah, and, there's so many different ways of cooking these animals, like goose.
Yeah.
I was just experimenting one day. I always marinate my steaks in Italian dressing. I always do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, why couldn't I do that with goose? So, I poked a bunch of holes in it, tenderized it a little bit, and then marinated overnight and just grilled it like a steak. And it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah, and like, that's another thing I think I want to do with the show is just hopefully show like recipes that are realistic for the average guy to go home and make and show his fucking wife that it's not bad to eat goose.
Yeah. And you have to try it. You do.
Yeah.
Everybody's so scared to try these different things.
Yeah. And I think there's just a lot of like public perception around that kind of stuff. It's like, and I get it, if you grew up your whole life and your dad or mom talks shitty about goose, you're probably gonna have a bad perception for it.
Oh, for sure.
But just just about being open minded for that kind of stuff. And that's another thing with talking about getting new people into it, like our friends who haven't hunted. Just getting their honest opinion about it and showing them that it's like, it's good meat and it's a good experience and it's a reason why people do this.
Yeah, for sure. Because at the end of the day, you can't buy half of this stuff in a supermarket.
No, yeah, you can't, and you can't buy the experience anywhere, and you can't buy the memories anywhere.
No, so many memories.
That's and I hope that with this show that we're able to do this, and we've already compiled a list of future guests that we have on mind.
And I hope they join us.
Yeah, I hope they do too.
It'd be a super fun conversation.
Yeah, I mean, we probably have like 30 people lined up from fly fishing to offshore fishing to steelhead fishing, and that's just the fishing stuff. And we got, someone who's actually done a lot of professional bass tournaments.
Yeah.
And then some of our hunting stuff, includes people who are new to backcountry hunting and just their experiences with it. And we got experts in waterfowl coming on. And we got wildlife biologists coming on, conservation officers. We got a guy coming on, John Carlson, we talked about before. He was literally bow hunting before there was a season.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, we could literally press record and that guy could tell us stories for 2 hours and you guys would still be listening to that stuff.
Every time I go to see John or go fishing with John, he's got a new story.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it might be long, but they're such good stories. I love listening to him talk.
Yeah, either it's a good lesson out of it or it's a good laugh.
Yeah.
It's one of the two, and I always love it.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. I really hope that we can get everybody to come on and speak.
Yeah, I mean, like, I got people who are going to talk about, from my experiences being in college, I got some good buddies who are actually, being a conservation officer. Like, he's doing that, going to school for it. And talking about, what the field, like, looks like now. And then, I got someone who's talking about, coming on to talk about, like, running a fishing club group and, like, what you should do for it.
Yeah, because when we first thought of the idea to start this podcast, me and you have so many good conversations. Just, it might be, I'm going to stop and pick something up from Ethan's house, and I end up sitting down and talking for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't plan on that.
Yeah.
But they're great conversations, and I just love to share it with other people.
And it's not just going to be a podcast kind of show, and we hope to really grow this brand into doing like, hunting, fishing, how-to videos, and like making it like really authentic, behind the scenes, like, no bullshit. It's like we're gonna be putting our heart at. You're gonna see it from our perspective. And, just like the other day, like it was the first time we ever mounted a scope on Ty's new 300 Win Mag.
Yeah, that was quite the process.
It was quite the I mean, like we had no idea what we were doing.
No.
And like I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on it, but like a lot of those guys skipped some steps that we thought that were pretty important when we were doing it.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I struggled with is the thing about a tutorial is they do it and everything goes smoothly. This is how you're supposed to do it. Goes smoothly, and that's all you know. And then we get into it, and so happens. Like, my rings weren't lining up perfectly.
Yeah, or you didn't even have the right rings.
Yeah, we didn't have the right rings, and I didn't know any better. I'm just getting into it.
So, just that authentic stuff. And like, I think we even have we have a show lined up right now where we're going to take an old right-handed bow that I was given. And I actually shoot left-handed now. That's something for another time. But
yeah, it's an interesting topic.
We're gonna give that bow a Ty, but at the same time, we're gonna actually restore it and kind of like do a restoration, like they would do a car restoration, but for a bow, and show that like you can get an old bow and maybe put, if you get one for free, you can put up maybe like $50 to $100 into it, and hopefully we'll see if Ty can kill a turkey with it this year.
Oh, I hope so. I really do hope so. Never killed turkey.
Yeah, well, that's both our goals this year, I guess,
Yeah, I went out last year and I didn't have much success, and it really turned me off from turkey hunting at the beginning, but I want to get back into it. It's like we talked about just a little while ago. It's not having that success, but I can't stand that. I need success.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I strive for, and I think that's what we both strive for, and we're definitely going to strive for with the show and the videos, and just put out as much content as we can. And like, I just want it to be real content. Like, I don't want like those clickbaity titles.
No.
And that's nothing you're going to expect from us. Like,
look what I got,
Yeah, like, I don't want like some stupid thumbnail with like a mystery thing outline and like nobody knows what you're doing. It's like, I want just like, a real perspective of what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, the average guy, we're definitely not anything spectacular right now. We're still learning, still getting more and more involved into these sports, and just bring a different perspective to it, hopefully.
So I guess next thing we'll kind of go into is our schedule. And that's like, one of those things where it's going to kind of hardly depend on like what the season is, and we're still in school. So it's going to be hopefully once every other week, and we're hoping to have a guest on and we'll mention who they are ahead of time. And
hopefully as well, while these every other week in between, hopefully have pictures or updates on the website, and maybe a couple blogs here and there of stories we're doing, or even research that we're doing in the time being. We find out something new, maybe something somebody else didn't know about. Maybe they'd want to learn more, and we just kind of display that information on our blog.
And both Ty and I, we live hunting and fishing. It's 365.
Oh yeah,
24/7. I mean, going through my mind all the time. Like, just the other day, I started putting my turkey calls in my car, and when I'm driving places, I'm turkey calling. And people are probably like, "What's that guy doing with his mouth?" But I just drive around with my mouth open, turkey calling anymore.
Yeah, because I tried practicing my goose call all the way home from college, and I was pretty soon I was all over the road, and I'm like, this isn't safe. But
so I guess going back to that, I hope we're gonna try to limit to like 45 minutes to an hour. But how conversations go, and if our guests just divulging a bunch of information, we're just gonna keep talking.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, and there's nothing uncut. It's uncut basically here.
It's just
raw footage.
Good conversation.
Good conversations, relatable conversations.
Because I really do love to hear what other people have to say, even if I don't know much about it,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
because I'm learning, and hopefully somebody else listening is learning, and that's what it's all about.
So
Bringing new people into the sport, hopefully getting more and more people to try, maybe try deer.
yeah,
They've always thought about it, and now I've heard this and that about it, and just change minds and get
yeah,
different opinions on it.
and that's the thing too. It's like I don't I want everybody to be involved in hunting and fishing, and that would be a great goal. But really, what I want to do is just change public perception
Yeah,
about who does it and why they do it, and just change why change the negative image and the stereotypes that are around the sport right now.
for sure.
And I think us as the next and the future generation play a huge role in that.
Oh, for sure. I hope so.
So I guess we'll talk about our next podcast, and that will be interviewing one of my good friends on waterfowl hunting, and that would be
Yeah, Jackson Rice.
Jackson Rice. So
Hopefully he comes on. Hopefully he takes interest in this.
Yeah.
He should. I'll put in a good word.
so we hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Thanks for tuning in, listen to us talk. So thank you.
Yep. Thanks, guys.